Good afternoon and welcome to the Brisbane AI User Group. This is our third event. I'm your host, David, and JK, Sarat, and I organize this user group. Our mission actually is to help you to learn more about machine learning and AI by bringing speakers from different parts of the world and to cover topics across different technology providers. For today's event, we were glad to have Hudson sponsoring the session. If you are looking for opportunities, I believe that we have a team online, so feel free to reach out, team. Hudson is a recruitment company. I don't know, Tim, if you want to say anything?
No, I'm good, thanks, David. Just actually looking forward to the session and learning with you guys as well. So thanks very much for having us.
That's amazing, Tim. Thank you for that. I put you in the spot.
All good, mate. No problems.
Yeah. So our speaker today is a development consultant at Telstra Purple, a Scrum Master, developer, and a business consultant who is on a constant learning journey. How cool is that? How are you? And welcome, Somy.
Thanks, David. Thanks for having me tonight. As you mentioned, my name is Somy. I work with Telstra Purple, and I'm a development consultant. And I'm here tonight to talk about AI builders and this new feature. Not so much new. It's been added last year, I believe. I'm here to talk about AI builder in Power Platform and see what feature from AI and cognitive services we can rely on to build less code applications. So if David, it's okay, I take over the screen, or?
Before you jump and share your screen, I think something is important for us to know you a little bit better. Sure. If you don't mind, okay. So how did you end up working for Telstra Purple, actually?
I came to Australia 10 years ago, and my background was development consultant. The first company that I joined was a consultancy, and it was that's how I joined the consultancy work. And I started working on different applications. My background is a .NET developer, but because I was consultant, I got the opportunity to be assigned different projects, so I could see what I'm interested at, and I could interact with different clients and different customers. And I had the opportunity to be able to try and learn more while I'm on the job. And I very much liked that approach, and it kept me going. So then I joined a different company called Cloud Solution. And Cloud Solution was acquired by Telstra 4 years ago. And this is the same process. So Telstra has formed a new company called Telstra Purple, and we are part of that company. Telstra has about, I guess, 6 companies, Redify, Cloud Solution, and a few companies. And now we form a new company called Telstra Purple. And what we are doing the same thing. We are providing different type of solutions in terms of infrastructure and developments to different companies. We are mainly focused on Azure, but we have solutions in AWS as well. For myself, I've been changing and switching a lot. As I mentioned, when I came to Australia, I was a .NET developer, but I wanted to try different things. So I've been on project where I was BA. I've been on different project which I was a Scrum Master. And the funny thing was, the reason I'm fascinated about is a Scrum Master for 2 years on a client, and there was a gap for me to come back to dev. And the good thing that got me going was learning about Azure and learning about AI, and it was so easy for me to pick up on with being a part for 2 years. And that really helped me because it was easy to use. I'm going to a little bit talk about it later. It was easy. There were lots of documentation. It was very easy for me to pick up, and it just get me up to speed with my future further development. And after that experiments, I started working on different development projects as well. And I'm still switching. So at the moment, I'm a developer in a client, but I already told my managers I want to switch and go to different projects. So I love that switch. I like to try different things. I just want my brain to just keep changing its focus. It keeps me young, despite my age.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you for that, Somy. So actually, I think the topic is excellent. You know, I know I know about the AI builder, and I know about the Power Platform. On the daily basis, I don't have the opportunity to work with that, so I think I'm going to enjoy this session a lot.
I hope.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah, so if you're ready to go and you want to kick off, so feel free to share your presentation.
Let me know when you can see.
Yes, I can see it.
All right. As I just mentioned, we are here tonight to talk about Microsoft, the modern solution, how to build modern solution using AI Builder. Our main focus will be to talk about Power Platforms. I already explained about myself, so I'm not gonna bother you guys going through the same thing. So jump into the session. The agenda for tonight is talk about Microsoft Power Platform, what it is, what capability it has, and then we're going to focus on the AI builder side of it, and we're going to talk this. So Microsoft Power Platform is actually a business application platform. It's a platform that you can easily build apps, and it's more of a point and click, and it's more of a wizard forms that you can, and the users and the non-technical user can easily pick up on, and they can start building application. The main reason or the main goal of the Power Platform is to set up a platform and environment for users to be able to gather all their data and start building and automating their business process or daily business process that they have within their organization. The goal of Power Platform is to rely on the data. So rather than start developing a business model, which leads to ERP or CRM, now we focus on our data and we start building our process on top of our data. So the goal is look at them that you have based on your experience that you have in your company and start building a new process based on your existing data within your organization. So that's the goal of the whole Power Platform. So the data would be our starting point, and everything will be derived out of our data. So what it does is it gives us an environment and the platform to bring all of our data from different places that we have. It shouldn't be all Microsoft. You have the options to connect to different applications, different platforms, bring all your data in one place and start using or relying on those data to build up your process. It has lots of connectors that you can use. And as I mentioned, you can integrate it with Salesforce, SAP, or other platform. You just need to have the connector set up and you start reading your data. So you will have your data in one place and you start building and automating your process on top of that. In a nutshell, this is how or what Power Platform looks like. You have the option to integrate it or deploy your information to Office 365, to mobile apps, to web apps, and also it has option to get integrated to Dynamic 365. The three main components within Power Platforms are PowerApps, Power Automate, and Power BI. Using PowerApps, as I mentioned, you can easily build applications and you can drive your data and you can display your data using PowerApps. So it will help you to easily build the application that you can deploy to your mobile app and start using it. Power Automate is like a workflow. It's like a connector between different services that you have. So with Power Automate, which aka Flow, you can have your data in one place and you can display the data somewhere else. For example, once you upload an item inside SharePoint, similar to SharePoint workflow, you can send emails to different users. Or, for example, when you're capturing feedbacks from the Power Automate, you can send those feedbacks to different parties, or you can send it to different applications, and that will trigger different activities alongside your organization. So based on the process that you have, you can automate and automate every single step of the way. With Power BI, you have the options to to view, or it gives you the visibility of the data that you have within your organization, and it gives you to option to generate charts, and you can make decision based on the information that you have received. So as you can see, it will bring everything in one place for you, and you have the option to just grab a different component and start building your application by using those components which are in hand. As you can see, let me just show pointing option. So the underlying engine or the main core of the Power Platform is called CDS, which is the Common Data Services, along with the data connector that I explained, that you can connect to different data sources and bring your data as well. So the Common Data Services is actually a cloud-based managed container. It is secure, it is hosted in Azure, and it has some predefined business entities which are common and used in different organizations. For example, sales, finance, marketing, education. There are some predefined or similar format that every single company or organization uses. So there are some predefined entity that you can start using without building those entities by yourself from the scratch. So you don't need to start reinventing the wheel. Some of those features are already there for you to use. You have the option to add your own entities. You have the option to add your own fields. You have the options to add your own logic to the data model that you have in hand, and you can take it from there. It gives you a good starting point that you can start building your application, and you can expand or iterate on the solution that you have. It is secure. As I mentioned, it's a foundation for Dynamic 365 and the Power Platform. And as I said earlier, I'm focusing on the data. Everything, our driving point is data. So we are focusing and basing our process based on our data that we have. And we can learn from our historical data and make a better decision for our organization, and we can improve our existing process. It is easy to manage, it is secure, and as I mentioned, you have the options to add validation, and you have the options to create different tools out of it. While we go to the demo, I will explain different steps within the Power Platform, and you will understand it a bit more. To iterate on what I just said, you have the core, which is the CDS. You have the AI Builder, which I'm going to talk about it next, and you have the data connector. So as you can see, based on your data, you have the option to push or create apps to automate your process. You have the option to use Flow or Power Automate to connect different entities and different services that you have within your organization. And through Power BI, you have the option to analyze your data, to analyze the outcome of the process or the application that you already built, and you can improve and enhance that application by going through this iteration and going through this cycle. The new feature that has been added last year, I believe, was the AI Builder. What it does, it will help you to rely on some of the machine learning and pre-built model that Microsoft provides to its customer. And so you can start building your feature on top of the existing information from the AI. So it is based on the Azure AI and ML technologies. You don't need to know how it's built. You just need to know how it's used. So there is less technical background that you may need to start using the AI features. The good thing about AI is everything is ready for you to use. Having said that, you have the options to customize and improve your model and improve your AI feature even within the Power Platform if you need to. So you can customize it, but there are predefined models that you can use as well. The AI Builder is an add-on to PowerApps and Power Automate, and every user gets 30 days trial that they can use different feature within Power Platforms. So you can explore and see what is good, which feature you want to use, and then once that trial is finished, you can purchase it. So we're going to talk about later on. We're going to talk about a little bit about licensing and the availability of different feature that AI Builder provides. Let me just quickly this. Okay, so as I mentioned, it's easy to use. You don't need to have technical knowledge, and it's expandable. I'm going to explain when you when you build your model within AI Builder, you have the option to share it with different organizations or different parties within your organization that you have, so you're not stuck. If you have the model, if you build the model, you can share that model to different departments, with different departments in your organization, and they can start using your model. So they don't need to rebuild or reinvent that the model that you already built for your organization. You don't need to manage any infrastructure, and within the Power Platform, all the infrastructure is already set up for you. So you don't need to worry about the security. You don't need to worry about the complexity of AIs within your Power Platform. So everything is ready for you to use and grab. You just need to bring your own data, build your process on top of it, and start using the feature. Okay, I'm re-emphasizing on that retrain, because the whole point of AI, even though Microsoft has provided some predefined models, the more you train your data, the more accurate information that you put inside your data set, the more accurate you will, the result is that you get out of it. That's why it has the option that you can train your model, and you can give it with the more sample that you give to your model, the more accurate result you will get out of it. So you have the option to start with a small set of data. It has this minimum, I will explain later. It has some minimum, for example, for form processor, you need to have like 15 forms, or for object detection, you need to have like 15 tagged objects. And then that's the bare minimum that you need to have to be able to train your model and get at least reasonable accuracy and confidence of the outcome that you're after. So I outlined some of the information here. As you can see, there are some pre-built AI model. For example, business card reader that uses the Vision API. There is a key phrase extraction, which uses the language API, the language detection. Again, it uses the language API. I'll explain about these different APIs when we go to the cognitive services. But at the moment, I'm just pointing out the engine behind the scene, and then later on in the next part of the session, we'll talk about those in more details. There are some new features or some new pre-built AI model that it's been added, which is the entity extraction and the category classification within the AI Builder, which is ready for you to use. You don't need to customize it. You have the option to customize it, as I mentioned, but it's ready for you to use if you want to. There is a form processor, which is a really good one, because, for example, you have invoices with your company. It's hard for a person to just grab the data, scan, copy and paste, or read the data and put it in Excel. With form processor, you just need to scan, pass it through the AI Builder. It will read the information for you, and you can use that information and put it in the flow, or or send it on to other side of your company. You can use the flow to send it to SharePoint or do other stuff with your information. You also have the option to display those information that you captured to through Power BI as well. So as you can see, everything is linked. So if I go back here, why it's not going back? If I just go back here, everything is linked. So it's just a matter of bringing everything in one place and start using and connecting these dots together, so you can get the most benefit out of the information that you have in hand. Okay, I'm gonna jump into the demo. Enough with the text. I'm gonna show you the Power Platform's environment, and I'm gonna explain the feature that it has. Let me just bring it in. Okay. So the Power Apps, this is the UI of the Power Apps. I'm using my company's account, so I don't have all the access, but I'll show everything that I can show you today. As you can see, everything is about data, and you have the options to either upload your data and your environment or your SQL data. Also, you have the option to connect it to different connectors. There are some predefined connectors that you can use. You can point it to Dropbox, you can have FTP, you can have your connector to Google Drive. So it has different connector that you can use. So as I mentioned, you don't need to bring everything in one place. You just need to have the right connection in one place to be able to use the information from. PowerApps, everything is kind of wizard based. So based on that, you can easily create a simple app and you can start getting benefit out of that. I'm just going to create a simple app for you, and you can see how easy it is. With like few clicks, you can get some information in hand on the spot. The core side of the Power Platforms or Power Apps is the data, as I mentioned. It has some predefined entities that you can use. It's more than 200 entities. For example, accountant, feedbacks, phone calls. These data model or entity models, they have this similar type, similar information, which is common along among every single organization. Having said that, you have the option to add fields to these entities. You have the option to bring your own entities. As you can see up here, you have the option to create your own entities. You have the option to, I'm not gonna use the term, it's like a table. You can create your own table with different columns and different fields, and you can have your own new entities, and you can start using those entities. Once you have your data available, you can use that data to build your Power Apps, or you can use that data to start a process using Power Automate as well. This is a new feature that has been added, which is the chatbots. I didn't have a chance to work on the chatbots, so I'm just going to jump into AI Builder. As I mentioned, there are some predefined models that we can use. As you can see, some of them are still in preview. I'm using Australia region. So if you change your region to US, you might get some of these in different, you might get different feature available to you, but I'm using Australia as region. So this is how much I get. As you can see, some of this information is already ready for us to use. One is the business card reader. So what it is, you can just scan your business card and it will give you the information that you need. The other one is the category classification. The good thing that it's been recently added, I didn't have this last time I checked, which it gives you the option to test it right away. So there are some pre-samples that you can see. It will get the information out of the text that you provide and it try to categorize. So what it does is actually there is a model behind it, which has been trained by tagging some of the keywords within that text. So that model, what it does based on the information that it has, it tries to pick up the similar information that is being tagged. So it will understand if the sentence has complement or if its sentence has, let me see if I can find something. For example, it has root and it will know if, or it has issues, so it will pick up or have it as a categories as issues. Then again, this is a simple way of categorizing your information. What it means that you just need to have your own set of data. It can be any sample data. It doesn't need to be real data, but as long as it's similar to the data that you have within your organization, you would be able to start tagging those information. You would be able to start using those information. So it is actually using the Vision API to be able to grab those information. I will show you later in object detection how it works. The other good things that I pretty much like is the sentiment analysis. So when you get feedbacks from your customer, you can kind of rate it or average it to see the feedback that you're getting from your customer, is it good or bad? For example, if they put something like this, that is negative. If I put some custom, it should give the sentiment of that one as well, hopefully soon. Say it's positive. So based on information that you put, it tries to detect the sentiment of that information. Then again, it is relying on AI features and it's relying on the language API and Vision API that it will read the text and it will try to detect the sentiment of that text involved. And as you can see, as easily as it is, you can use this in a flow or you can use this in an app. So I'm not writing any code, I'm just doing click to get to where I want.
Sorry, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure. please do so.
Just have a quick question for sentiment analysis. Since I work a lot with cognitive services, can you select the version? Like version 3 gives you a lot more details about the sentiment analysis. It's basically sentence by sentence, actually, the text analysis.
What do you mean by version? Sorry, I didn't get that part.
Can you try to analyze one of the texts and let's see what's the details?
Okay.
And show details.
Oh, this one. Okay.
It might be version 3, so it basically can analyze sentence by sentence.
Oh, okay. I don't have that feature. Yeah, I've seen that in object detection in AI itself, so you can get those information out of it. Let me see if yeah.
Then,
the reason.
Yeah, that's the only question I had.
Good point. So these, the other one is receipt processing, which is still in preview. I guess it's relying on the form processing as well, but it's specifically for different type of receipt that you have. So you can have, for example, different receipt and it will read the key information from it. It is relying on the Vision API to detect text from the objects. And as Sarah mentioned as well, it uses OCR feature to be able to read handwritten or type or printed text from the objects. So it will really helpful when you have different handwriting, especially doctor's handwriting or my own handwriting. So it will be very easy. And then again, it is based on the trained model. If you want to get more accurate result, you need to train and upload more information or more data to your model and train it and reevaluate your model over and over to get the higher and or more accurate information out of it. What I want to show you quickly, I'm just cautious about the time. I will quickly show you how you can use the business card reader. For example, I want to use it in an app. So I have the option to use it in Flow or I have the option to use it in an app. So I'll go to app. Come on.
Quick question for you, Somy, while that comes up. Have you tried running this on your mobile phone as an app, or is it are you just run it online?
No, you can run it on your phone as well. I have the PowerApps, but I didn't publish this app, but you can run it. So you have the PowerApps on your phone. I'm using iOS, so you can have it. There are, I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna mention some of the apps. For example, Plant It. I'm not sure you guys have heard of it. During this COVID, I get a lot of time to do some gardening as well. So there's a Plant It app that you can take a photo of the plant that you can see, and it right away tells you the details and different information about that plant. So it uses the Knowledge API and the Search API as well as the Vision API to capture as many information or provide you as many information as you have. So there are many apps that uses the AI features. Having said that, you can publish PowerApps or your application to your mobile or desktop and you can start using it. So there is no difference between this and that. And because let's assume I don't have any technical background, it doesn't need to be fancy. Having said that, PowerApps has the option for you to be able to create fancy app as well. So there's a Canvas app that it gives you, and also the other one, the model-driven one, it gives you a better UX experience if you want to. So what I did was just clicking on that feature that we just saw. So I just clicked on the business card reader. It took me to PowerApps. You have the options of scanning the business card. I want to show you quickly what we can do with that information. So let me just say business card, and then we just have, let's say, full name. And did I insert? No. Let me insert a label. And then I put business card reader, for example, full name. Let me see if it works. So I will play this. I will try to, I don't know, let's capture this. Come on. See, I just take a photo. I just took a photo from a business card that I had, and I already tagged and I asked the name to be split out, and that this is what I get. You can tag different information and you can grab those information, and you can have the trigger behind this button saying that once you scan, once you get the information, send an email to somebody. So you can connect this to Power Automate and you can notify a person with this information. So when you are in a, for example, when you are in a conference and you're collecting business card from different parties, you want to send them an email or staying connected, you can have this. You can have that app on your phone. You can scan their business card, and behind the scene, there can be a Power Automate to send an email or do something with those information that you want to. So you don't need to memorize or keep those cards collected somewhere. You just need to take a photo, store it. That can be sent out to a SharePoint list, or you can send the email to the persons with the information that they gave you right away. So you can create that connection. It will improve the way that we interact internally and externally. So if I go back, just want to grab another tag, and let's say I want the email as well. Let's say business card reader dot, let's say if we can grab emails. And as I mentioned, you can use this information to do further. You can post it somewhere. So let me try another card and see if it picks us up. I will try this. Okay, they got it. But if you have business cards in different shape or different layout, it's not as accurate. It might not give you all the information that you may need. Having said that, you can create your own model, and you can train your own model to be able to pick up business card on different environment. If it's on the table, if it's alongside with different papers, you can train your model to pick up the exact or different type of business cards and different type of backgrounds that you may want. Going back to, there was another one that I wanted to show you, which is, I believe, the category classification. I mentioned this category classification. Okay, so these are the out of the box that are ready for you to use. There are some other, which again, based on these 7 predefined model are based on some of these custom model that you have enhanced. For example, category classification, you already have the sample one that you can, or basic one that you can start using, or you can create your own. So you can define your own model and you can start training your model, and then you can publish that model. I'm just going to quickly show you the object detection one. For example, I will put this sample AI. So the object detection relies on the Vision AI, and what it does, it will try to detect object or information from an image. For example, I will go, and these 2 are new. So initially it was only the common objects. So you have a bunch of image and you can tag your image based on the information, but these 2 has been added recently. So you have the option to detect different items inside the shelf. So you can tag those items. And also it has the option to understand different type of logos. I'm going to go with the first one, which is the basic one. I'm just going to show you how to build this model and then use this model in your Power Platform. For example, I would just say, I don't know, rose tea. I will go with mint tea. I have a model of different type of teas, and we can just tag this. So if I want to add this image, let me just go back. When you want to add this image, you have the option to have those collection from other data sources like SharePoint, or have it from the Azure Blob Storage, or have that data set within your on your local machine. Let me just grab all. Upload 30 image. As you can see, there are some quick tips here as well. So you need to have 15 images tagged per each items that you for the model to be able to start working properly. So the lesser data that you have, the less accurate result that you will get out of it. Come on.
I'm going to try the same, but with beer.
That's a good idea. Now I went to go do the mask thing because of the COVID. I had a different type of mask and I wanted to tag them, but it was like two-way different and it took a lot of time for the model to train. So that's why I skipped it. So I went with the easy one. So I've uploaded like 30 images. You just need to have 15 of these images tagged based on your information. I'm showing you guys the easy way because I'm aiming for no code solution. But with Power Platforms, you have the options to have the information, let's say in a JSON format, and you have the tags in JSON format. You just need to upload your data model and you can start using those data models. So you don't need to go through this bizarre way of implementation. You can have it different way. As long as you have the data inside the Power Platforms, regardless of the formats, you can easily start using it and relying on the information that you have in hand. So let's say Minty, I'll go next. I already trained this model, so I just want to show you how you just need to do that. This, I don't have this, so I don't tag this. For example, Mint. Once you have this, it will tell you how many items you already tagged and how many you need to go through. It says you have to have like 15 images tagged. I already trained this one, so I'm just going to skip this and show you. Save and close. So I already trained this model, which is a sample model. And then within your flow, you can use this sample data and you can upload a new image of a tea and it will detect whether that tea is green or mint or any other type of tea. You also have can have a tag which unknown for unknown tea, and you can categorize the unknown information, and later on you can train your model to be able to detect those information. So you have the way to search the information that you have the way to get the result out of the validation of your model, and you have the option to improve and train your model better. So it's like an iterate. You can just go over and over to improve your model as you go. I have the sample form as well. Let me see if I can. How much time do we have? I can. Form processing.
Yeah, you don't have to worry too much about time at the moment.
Okay. Form AI. I am adding some documents. Let me see if I have the forms from processing. For example, we have invoices. I've got like 5 forms. The format is the same. So if the information that you use to train your model are in a similar format, I'm not saying that they should be exactly the same, but if they have a similar format structure, especially in the form processing, you will get a more accurate result out of it. But if you use different type of invoices, you might have less accurate data. So you need to train your model better to be able to pick up different type of invoices. There was a question in one of the meetups. A lady asked me, within my organization, I have 5 different departments and they have 5 different type of invoices. How can I combine them all together and start running and making the most use of it? So the answer was you just need to make sure how you train your model to be able to pick up different type of invoices. As the more similar the structure of or the format of the form is, the better result you will get out of it. But it is not impossible to get information from different type of invoices, as long as you can have them grouped by and you have enough sample to train your model by. So if you have like 5 different invoices from 5 different departments, you need to have enough sample data to train your model for each type, and then your AI model will be able to pick up on each different invoices. So I quickly select and analyze these forms. So it is using the Vision AI in the backend. So it will detect text from the images that I put in. And we can, similar to the business card reader that I just showed you, you can just pick up the information that you tag and you can do something else with it. So if this is an invoice, you can see if its due date is passed, so you can send a notification to the owner of that invoice saying that, hey, your invoice is past due, so do something about it. As you can see, all along the world, there are like tips, there are like helps and the quick notes that it will help you to make the best use of the feature that you have in hand. So I'm just going past this. As you can see, this is the scanned invoice. For example, I'm curious about the due date. I'm curious about the invoice. So you just need to tag this, add tag, due date, invoice, maybe from, and that's it. For example, I'm done tagging and then I'll go to next. So I only tag 4 items. I can train my model. The more data that you have, the longer it takes for your model to train. So you have the large data set, it can take a few hours for your model to learn. But what's in for your model to be trained. But once it's trained, it will work fast. So before publishing that, I have the option to test and see if it's working fine. If it doesn't work fine, I'll have to go back and reevaluate. So I just uploaded a new invoice. It wasn't part of the training ones. It's just a different invoice, similar format, but different information. So it's trying to see if it can detect the information that I was just selected. So as you can see, it detects this information. So now if I publish and push this to PowerApps, you have, similar to business card, you have an app that you can scan those invoices and you can do something with the information that you receive from that invoices. You have the option to publish. Once you publish, that will be available in PowerApps and also it will be available in Power Automate for you to use. If it's not published, you don't have the option to use it. As you can see, once the model is published, you have the option to use these two. I can publish it and then I can use it within Power Automate and PowerApps. You can see that there is a share option as well. So as I mentioned earlier, once you train and build your model, as I said, for some model, it takes time, and these are reusable models. So you can just share these models with different departments within your organization. These are the sample data, so you're not sharing any confidential information, right? So you have the option to share this information with different departments and they can start using your trained model, put their own data, and they start building and using the same feature that it provides. Then, so similar to the business card, I'm not going to go through that. So similar to the business card, you can use this model within PowerApps. If I go quickly, I'll come back. These are the predefined ones. Let's see if it can build something for us to use. Got it. See, it's already there. So if I just push it, it will ask me to scan a form and it will do the same as I showed you in the test. Similar to the business card, you can have labels or you can insert different action items. So you can do something with the information. See this one? So you have the option, well, once you grab those information, you can have Power Automate to do something with those information, send it up somewhere, send it to Power BI, send it to SharePoint, send it to different parties, send an email, trigger someone. So you have lots of features available in your hand. You don't need to know any coding to be able to do that. It is as easy as I just did. Mainly they use this information to integrate it to Dynamic. So with Dynamic, you have more options because you're dealing with your customers, so you have more options and you can do more with it once the information is there. What else? Any questions so far before I
think we're good so far.
Okay, good. Just one note, the good things which I like about this is, as I said, every step of the way you have a documentation and you have example close to your hand that you can easily use. So it will teach you how to use AI. So everything is available for you to use. It has the sample information. Let me just show you the documentation that it has as well. You can start with the existing model types. You can train your model, you can manage your model. So it has lots of documentation available that you can use. So you don't need lots of background knowledge. Everything with the sample is available for us to use. And it's like a sequential and stepwise. So it's very easy to use and build. Even without this documentation, inside the AI builder, you can just, by reading the information, seeing the example, even the best practices are available. So you can see what works, what doesn't work, and you can see how you can train and manage your model. That's pretty much it. I don't want to talk through the data and the solution because I guess that will require a different session to go through each. The prediction is a good one. I don't have a sample to show you, but prediction, what it does, it gives you a yes or no answer, or true or false. For example, when you apply for a loan in a bank, you provide your information, and on the spot or within 30 seconds, you will receive and say, hey, you're eligible. No, you're not ineligible. Using this prediction, behind this prediction, you have some sort of rules and conditions that you can check. And based on the information that a customer or a user provide, you can just give them a yes or no answer on the spot. So you can build this feature similar to when you apply for the credit card. Within 30 seconds, you will receive an answer yes or no. That can be done using this prediction. You just need to define your step. You just need to define your criteria and condition. And based on the information that this model is being trained for, it can give you the conditional approval or yes or no approval, for example, for your loan. So this feature is already built. You just need to start using it and see if you need to customize it further, or it is good enough for your business need. I'm just gonna diving back to the presentation. So if there's no other question around AI Builder, I'll talk about the licensing, and then I will jump into the cognitive services. I guess I briefly mentioned that you get 30-day trial. Each user will get 30 days trial, and it's an add-on to your PowerApps and Power Automate license. And there is a $500 subscriptions, which includes 1 million AI Builder services credit, which I believe JK has a bit more recent information regarding to the licensing and the pricing. So if you guys are interested, I will pass it on to JK later after the session, and you can ask that question if you need to. Talking about AI and AI Builder, we need to know what is behind the scenes. So all the information that you see and it's already built for us to use is based on the cognitive services, which is a collection of artificial intelligence API. These are the RESTful API that are available for us to use. Similar to any other REST API, you don't need to know how they are built. You just need to know how to use a REST API. There is lots of documentation, again, in Microsoft documentation, that you can see what features are available for each API, and you can start using those features. By few lines of code, you just need to connect to the right API and start using those features. Last year, I guess I built, it wasn't an app. I just wanted to see how Vision API works. My code was like maybe 10 lines. It was as simple as 10 lines of code. It wasn't a fancy application. It was just a web page for me to be able to scan a photo and read a text from that photo. So it took me like, it was just 10 lines of code that made me or helped me to use the features. If I were to build the AI, Vision AI from scratch, it would have taken me, I guess, months or years to build, but it was so easy for me to pick up. Having said that, I've done it last year, and I was away from coding for 2 years, and I was ready to pick up on, and that was so easy. I thought it's a big challenge for me to learn AI and then start using it, but because everything was available and everything was ready for me to use, it made my life much easier to get back in the game. Okay, back to AI builders. So the 5 main cognitive services or APIs that are available for us is Vision API, Speech API, Language API, Knowledge API, and Search API. AI Builder is mainly focused on vision, speech, language, and knowledge as well. The Vision API will help us to detect object, text, face. It actually describes whatever you see in an image. It tries to describe that image for you. Out of the box, it will pick up face, it will pick up objects, it will pick up if it's a tree, if it's a train, if it's a car, it will pick up some of the obvious objects. It can even guess, for example, if you have a face or a human body, it can detect whether it's female or male, it can detect at the age, it can detect whether that person is happy or sad, so it can detect the sentiment of that object that it sees. You can train similar to any other AI or similar to the AI builder that I just mentioned, you can train your own model. So for example, by default, it will detect the celebrities. But if you want to be part of the celebrities, you can have your own custom vision API. You can provide your own images and it can train your model. So next time you will be part of those celebrities and it will pick up your image as well if you publish that model to outside. The cool things about the...
Just a comment about the celebrity models. It's actually now gone because police asked for it and they had only 2 options, either delete the database or give the database. So they deleted it.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. So the face recognition is gone, or it's like limited usage?
Just the celebrity database.
Oh, okay. The database is gone. Okay. Well, we still can use the feature.
Yeah, the Face API works just fine. You just cannot use the old celebrity
one. Okay, good to know. The other good thing about the Vision API, the feature that it has, it's a content moderator. So if within your organization there are some, I don't know, inappropriate image or content within that image, the Vision API can detect that those information, and you can scratch that out of your audience. So you can filter out those information from being passed on to your customer or to your user. And as I mentioned, you can customize your Vision API to train based on your needs. There are some predefined information that is in hand, but there are you can customize it based on your own need. You just need to tag and tell your model what to look for. For example, I'm looking for clouds. I'm looking similar to the green tea sample that I just showed you. I was only interested to find out about the tea. So I only tag the tea containers. I don't care about the desk or chairs or anything else. So you just need to tag and tell your model to get trained for specific information that you're after. And even for the content moderator, you can train your model to pick up those unwanted information and then do something with it, filter out those information so that your customer don't see those information. The speech API is to understand. It might not be used as such within AI builders, but what it does is it will identify different speakers. So if you're sitting in a conference and different people are talking, this speech API will help you to understand the different conversations. So we'll create a, let's say, speech profile for each customer. It will try to filter out the background noises. So we'll try to get the intent of the speakers, and it also can read out the text for you as well. So the sample that I had last year was take a photo of an image and then start reading that image for me. So I use the Vision API and a Speech API to be able to make that work. So using that Speech API, it can read the text for you as well. Similar to any other AI, you have the custom version as well. So you can train your model to be able to pick up your own custom version of the speakers. For example, when you some of the bank, if they want to authorize you, they will ask you to say something with your voice. So they will create a speech profile for you. For example, they will ask you to repeat something. It is secure in some way, but this is one of the way that they authenticate you. So they will create a different profile for your speakers. So you can authenticate your account using your speech and your voice, and that relies on these features. Then again, you just need to customize it and make sure that it's more secure, it has less faults in it. The language API is analyze the text. For example, the sentiment feature that I showed you in AI Builder, which took whether that message is, I don't know, positive, negative, and neutral, that is relying on the language API. So that is how it detects the content and the intent of the text that you receive. Even within the speech API, you have it can detect the intent of the speaker, whether the speaker is angry or sad, or it's insulting, or it's a neutral way of talking. It can detect the content and intent of the speaker as well. Using the language API, you have the option to translate. I know AI Builder is trying to it's improving that side of the story, that side of the feature. At the moment, it's only picking up the English, but they are working to be able to translate. If you, I don't know, upload something in English, it has the option to translate to different languages. Or if you upload something which is not in English, it will be able to detect the language that it's been taken from, and it will help you to do something else with it. For example, if it's, I don't know, if it's in French, it will give you option to translate. Language API has the option to translate different 52 language, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you have the option to translate. So, for example, you go to different countries, you go to store, you don't understand the language, but you only understand English. You take a photo of that image or container within the retail shop. If you're in the store, you just scan that object. It will read the text from that object using the Vision AI. It will try to translate that text to your preferred language, let's say French or English, and it will. You have the speech API to read that text for you out loud. So you don't need to read it. For example, if I don't know, I forgot my glasses, so I can't read it, you can build a simple app for you to do that for you. I've done it in like 2 hours with 10 lines of code. It wasn't a fancy one, but it did what I needed that to do. The more advanced version of this feature, for example, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Sing AI. That is the new app, not the new app, that is the new initiative that Microsoft has been working on for a few years now, which helped the partially blind people and even the blind people to be able to go by the daily activities. So what it does, they have like smart glasses with the app as well. So it will tell you your surroundings. So it will tell you what you can see using the same feature. So it relies on the cognitive services to help different people. So we are actually solving the real problems that people might have. Any questions? I didn't want to get to speech and knowledge and search.
We do have a question from Mayur. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I'm just trying to figure out for the bias results in the Power Apps. I assume it's basically if the data is biased, how do we know? How can we process that? How we can determine whether the data is unbiased in Power Apps or not?
Are you talking about the sentiment, or you're talking about in which?
So how is Microsoft handling biased results, which can come quite frequently, for instance, with facial recognition and stuff like that?
I think the question, correct me if I'm wrong, Major, but the question is within the Azure Cognitive Services, not within the Power Platform.
Yes, one part of the question, one part of the answer would be that that's part of the cognitive services. Power Apps is leveraging that. And the question specifically is with machine learning. Many times we see that bias results always come with machine learning algorithms. Partially correct. It's mostly data, what kind of data we have.
Is it out of the box ones, or this is, for example,
So for
the
Face
one that
API, we have out-of-the-box model trained based on real people. Then, for instance, with receipts, it's biased toward US receipts, for instance, in the form recognizer, if we use the pre-trained. For the speech recognition, they probably have separate models for different accents. So yeah, you kind of have to be a bit aware for the biases, but that's mostly part of the cognitive services. It's not part of PowerApps. Cognitive services leveraging the cognitive services, and then you can look up at that service to see how well they're performing. Best way to test it is try it out yourself.
test it.
And the other side of that is basically it's your bias. It depends on the amount of data you have. So the bias rate goes down the more data you feed your model, basically. But I don't think you can ever get your bias down to 0, but you can limit the amount you get it down to.
Yeah, just to give you feedback for the Face API, I was doing a lot of sessions about Face API, and Microsoft right now is one of the best services, if not the best online one, for recognizing the most diverse group of people from all of the services they have tried out. I can look up, if anyone is interested, I can look it up, the URL. We had actually in the news 2 months ago exactly for that. And there's another question for the invoice classification example. Can the tag field data be stored to a defined location for use for later use? Say the amount due from each company of 100 invoices can be aggregated. I would assume that you do like a Power Automate and then you store that in a separate variable and then at the end you calculate it?
You can write this data to a database. So that is what is usually done with Power Automate. In this particular example, you would scan what you'd need. You'd write a flow Power Automate function, whatever the case may be, connected to a database. Can be in Azure, can be your local premise. You just write it in there. And then obviously you can do analytics on top of it.
Yeah, I don't have a predefined, I haven't trained a model for receipt, but you're right, that's how you can use it. So you can, it's similar to the form processing. You detect the objects and the tag information that you're after. There are some predefined tags with their receipt processing. You just capture the data and it can pass those data using, I don't know, Power Automate to do something else with it. You can post those data somewhere else and you can do something else with those data that you have received. I don't have a sample model to show you guys.
Okay, I think we're good.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Oh,
okay, cool. The last slide for me is just the references that I used. As I mentioned, Microsoft has lots of documentations, which it explained a step-by-step way of using it. And one last thing that I will show you is the availability of the features that we just talked about. So the received processing, it is in the public review starting July 22, so it's now ready for us to use. The text translation, the same. It's not it's in public preview. It's not GA yet, but hopefully in a few months' time we'll get it as well. Form processing, object detection, text recognition, they are all GA, so we can start using it. There's a new one. I haven't used the geo expansion, but I'm interested to use and see how this works. It is in the GA as well, so that is my next homework to see how that works. Good for me. The prediction, as I said, the basic version was already available since last year, but they're expanding. So as I mentioned, Microsoft is improving the feature so they're improving their model as well as us when we're working on it. So they're doing the same as we do. The on-demand prediction will be available hopefully soon. It says to be announced, so we'll get it soon. But as I mentioned, everything is in Microsoft. So you can see the documentation and you can start your way from there. But by all means, if you guys have any other questions, my contact details there, you can follow me and you can ask me any question. I'm learning, as I said, every day. So you can help me learn, I can help you learn. It's a both way.
Yeah, definitely, Somy, that was great. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Somy, for getting involved. And actually, what I like the most about this presentation is that you've done pretty much everything without coding, you know?
That was my goal. So I wanted to find an easy way.
Yeah, that's definitely great, because, you know, that doesn't mean that data scientists are going to disappear. It means that we make technology available to more people. Therefore, AI and machine learning are going to grow faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
Because the feedback I got from people, AI, I mean, initially when we talk about AI or any cognitive services, they think that, oh, it's going to be so difficult for us to use, so we're going to forget about it. But with AI Feed Builder, and the feature is already built for us, it makes it easier for non-technical people to pick up on. Especially in an organization, they don't need to hire lots of people to build something for them. They can start on by building their own, and they can improve. And if they need additional help, they can get. But with the simple and basic models, it's ready to use.
Yeah, that was really good. Okay, so we have maybe we'll have the last question coming from the chat. I missed it. No, where is the question? Here. So from H, maybe he missed this part. The question is: after using the pre-trained model, can we feed more specific images to add to the pre-trained model? Can you continue training the model?
I assume that was for the forms, since we talked about forms before.
Yes, you can. You can customize your model. So there is a predefined one, but you can have your own. So you can. It's similar to object detection. So you can have it available. There was I just stopped sharing, but there was model for the form processing. You can provide your own forms to train, and if you're not happy with the result that you're getting, you can unpublish. You can add more data to it, and you can train your model more often. You can add more tags to your model and then train it again. So it's up to you to configure and train your model.
Okay, and with that, so pretty much if you like to submit a session, don't forget to go and check our GitHub repository. Could be a session or an idea for a session. We'll sort it out. We'll find the speakers to cover those topics that you'd like to see in the upcoming sessions. It's like a really easy step that you need to follow. Just click the link, submit an issue. It's not an issue, actually. It's an idea for a topic, or if you like to talk in the event. Yeah, that's all from our side. We'd like to thank especially Somy for getting involved and sharing your knowledge. Somy, that was great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you to the attendees as well for, you know, making some time on a Thursday evening. It's really nice to have you here. Thank you to the sponsor, Hudson, and to my co-organizers for sorting all the event out, JK and Sarah.